Hello everybody and welcome to the Irregular Magic High School Season 2 Episode 3. That's 3 anime review. In this week's episode, things got a little bit confusing. Not confusing, a bit mammering with all the jargon going on and everything, which I feel like that kind of stuff would work better in the book format than the anime format. It wasn't too complicated. Well, it was complicated, but it doesn't seem too important. The characters will probably realise something because of it later, and then we'll be sitting there like, yes, I see, even though we have no idea what they're talking about. Other than that, things properly got moving with Tatsuya entering the fray properly, and big old three-way fights happening. Three-way fights happening a lot. They're good fights, three-way fights, but anyway, let's crack on with the episode, see how everything went down, and do this thing. So we open up with Tatsuya sparring with Master Shisho. Mean the same words, but I just said that. Master Shisho flips Tatsuya. They're pretty punchy. They're punching each other hard. They're not holding back. This is not a training match. They're gonna knock each other's heads off. Let's just be pretty clear with that. Tatsuya ends up getting flipped over after this little weird dispersion thing, and then he comes together back in the same place. That happens. Cocoon Water Mirage, it confuses eyes not of this world, and I guess because Tatsuya's eyes are super good, it also counts that. Eyes not of this world, primarily consisting of, I wrote it down, spiritual beings, non-human beings that, they're around, Parasites would be based on this spirit phenomena. I'm going to be honest, this is the bit I was talking about at the beginning, where the whole conversation sort of went over my head a little bit. They were talking in very jargony, this show specific terms. And I'll be honest, like I said, I'm not super into this show, so a lot of it is just like, So basically what you're saying is the vampire might be spirit-based, is sort of what I was getting. But they said a lot of other words that were big, and I was just sitting there, they say a lot, and it's just like, whoa, I did my best, obviously, but I think that's the takeaway, is that the vampire is sort of based on the spirit phenomena, somehow. Like I said, if you got any easier to follow explanations, I would love to hear it, because, sometimes happens in a lot of anime, sometimes they're just over your head, and that's just how it works. Tatsuya gets Honoka later on to call Shizuku, trying to find out some information about the American vampire, obviously due to what's going on over there. He tells her, yeah, Leo got attacked by it. Also, I think that the vampire here actually came from America, so any information you have would be very good. She doesn't have anything right now, but she's going to investigate it. Tatsuya is all like, okay, but stay safe. That's the most important thing. Don't do anything reckless and dangerous. So naturally, I presume she's going to do something reckless and dangerous. Silly Shizuku. Behave, Erika and Mikihiko are on the prowl, on the hunt, they're looking for revenge for Leo, basically. They use this stick to figure out where they are. It's like they put the stick down and it falls, and the direction it falls is where the enemy is. It's Mikihiko magic, as you know. I really do like the magic in this show, though. Even if I don't completely understand it, I like the way it works. Then he texts for backup. I thought he was texting Mayumi and Jumonji, because that's what he was talking about, but then Tatsuya showed up later, which makes me think maybe he was texting Tatsuya. Not too sure on that, though. Meanwhile, Angie is chasing one of the masked freaks and everything. She's got this homing knife that just bends around corners and stuff to chase it. Eventually, dude gets stabbed by that, and then the assistants stab him. He gets stabbed a lot, and then Angie shoots him, and he's dead. Rip, masked man. There's a second one, though. He starts running. Angie gives chase. What are they called? God, brain fart. Mikihiko and Erika see this and right, we're going to go after that as well. However, I feel like they think maybe Angie might be one of them too, because Erika goes after her while Mikihiko fights the masked dude or woman. This might be the one that attacked Leo, so it might be a woman. The girls are pretty even. Angie and Erika, they have a pretty good fight, I would say. But short, but still pretty good. There's swords, there's hardening, there's bullet. As always, good. Bullet. There might not have been bullet, I can't remember. Meanwhile, the masked guy has a barrier. Mikihiko does this lightning strike thing that lasts for way longer than it should. Angie manages to hold off Erika. Her jacket gets split, I think, so, you gotta pay for a new jacket now. That's gonna be awkward in class. Tatsuya then shows up to save Mikihiko from the the masked dude, who managed to counter the lightning spell. It was pretty impressive, I'm going to be honest. Then he kept disabling Angie when she kept trying to do something. She's like, what the hell's going on? However, he can't analyze her properly. His analysis eyes, or whatever you want to call them, don't work because of her. He should be able to see through her disguise, but he can't, basically. So then she escapes. I believe the masked person also escaped. But it was cool. It was a cool, not a free-for-all, but, three-way scrap. Still not entirely sure why they were attacking Angie, the Team Tatsuya. But maybe they got confused and thought she was a baddie, or maybe they just didn't want her interfering. Who knows? I certainly don't. I must have missed that if they had that explanation at some point. But they might not have, I don't know. Team Angie in their reconnaissance truck will go with, figure out the one that got away has what was it? He's got fake PSI waves, which basically, I assume PSI waves are sort of how you identify people. But because this one has got fake ones, they don't know who it is. Sort of, I guess. Like I said, I like the magic system and the power system, even though I don't completely understand it. So that's that. And then internally, Lena, in blonde form, I guess, is like, why are they so strong? Erika's really strong and Tatsuya's pretty damn strong too. Is everybody like this? This is messed up. And it's like, no, not everybody's like this. But it's even crazier when you think they are technically like the lower tier, like the B tier of the school, and they're super strong anyway. But they're not the B tier really. They're the A tier really. Words are not easy. I'm just going to stress that right now. Tatsuya meanwhile asks Aunt how the Kudo family parade spell works. Kudo family, I believe, is what Lena is part of. Lots of jargon, but basically he couldn't see through her disguise. It was another case of, oh my god, I don't know what you're saying. Use proper words, damn it. Couldn't see through her disguise. Also, his mist dispersion ability missed, which shouldn't be a thing that happens in Miyuki's. They're like, what? Oh my god, that's impossible. Shout out to Miyuki for just showing up occasionally. I don't know what other people's opinions are, but I'm really not a fan of Miyuki. And it's not just because she's his sister. I just don't think much of her. She's meh, she's there. Maybe I'm wrong, but having a drinking game every time she says Oni-sama, words are hard. Every time she says Oni-sama, take a shot. You'd definitely make it through the whole series. No, you wouldn't. He asks for some reinforcements. They're like, okay, we'll do that. And also the aunt says the younger brother Kudo was more skilled at this parade skill. And if I remember right from last week, the younger Kudo brother is the one that Lena is related to. I think she's like his granddaughter or something, if I remember right. But of course, my brain doesn't last more than 3 days, so I might be remembering that a little bit wrong. Tatsuya then has a meeting with Mayumi and Jumonji. They basically want his help. They're like, hey, we've teamed up to deal with this. Can you join us too? And Tatsuya is all like, we won't feel safe until we have the answers. Leo was attacked. In my head, he's definitely putting on some kind of act to get some information. There's no way Tatsuya would get that emotional, in my honest opinion. But yeah, they're like, hey, we'll tell you what we know if you help us. And he's like, fine, I agree to help. They tell him, probably multiple vampires. There's a third faction interfering, when I presume the third faction is Lena and co. But they're not really interfering. They've got the same goal. Just team up with them too, which I don't think is going to happen. But, it'd be nice. Then Tatsuya is like, alright, cool. I think it was Jumonji who was like, no, Tatsuya should work on his own because he's really good, basically. That's what I took. Either he doesn't trust him entirely, which I don't think is true, or he's like, he'd probably work, but he's a lone wolf, Tatsuya. I know he's got a lot of friends, but I'd definitely call him a lone wolf. He's got that look to him. Back at home, he uses the satellite camera that he borrowed from I think it was the aunt, whoever it was, uses that to locate the target. He sees Angie and the target at Masked Man there as well. Tells Miyuki, hey, wait here for tonight while I deal with this. Caresses her face like a creepazoid. I don't believe they're blood related. I just can't believe it, They said it too many times. They're not blood related. I'm saying it. He's like, yeah, I'll need your help eventually, basically. So she's going to do something later on in the arc, I assume, to help out. Miyuki then gets visited by Shisho. We don't see the outcome of that because we instead cut to Tatsuya, who shoots the Masked Man, knocks it out, maybe kills it. I don't know. I keep calling it an it, the man or the female. I can't remember what it is. Then Tatsuya, what does he do? Tatsuya and Angie sort of have a little face-off. There's some bullet cancelling, some cool stuff there. And then he disables her disguise, revealing that Angie is in fact Lena. Oh, shock. You know, no, it's not. I mean, we knew anyway, and, you know, we were supposed to know anyway, but this is... I mean, Tatsuya knew anyway. This is Tatsuya just confirming. He's like, oh, yes, you are definitely who I think you are. That's good. And yeah, that was where the episode ended. It was kind of weird because... obviously, it's not a surprise to us, but it's not even a surprise to the characters. But it's like, it's interesting how they're going to do it, because they're not playing it off as a surprise. They're playing it off as like, yeah, everyone's aware of this. Let's just get this out in the open, or out in the open quickly. Presumably, that's going to change how the two of them interact, because now Tatsuya knows her secret. Maybe she'll be a bit more like, keep my secret, damn it. And Tatsuya's known the whole time, but that's not the point. We'll have to see. We'll have to see indeed. I hope they don't just start being... I don't want them to like proper attack each other. Like they're teammates, really. We know that. They're after the same thing. So let's hope they do that. But anyway, what was the best part of the episode, in my honest opinion? Let's check that out. So my favourite part of the episode, although it was brief, I mentioned it earlier, the Angie versus Erika fight. Yes, it was brief. Yes, they kept cutting to Mikihiko. But I thought it was really, really good. The way she like swung her sword was cool. The hardening, it was very, despite how quick it was very back and forth quick. I'm not good at doing these specialized terms like Tatsuya, like at the beginning with Tatsuya and the explanation and everything. Sometimes I just want to see a pretty decent fight, no matter how short it may be. And that is what I got here. Now, this episode itself, I'm enjoying this series, but it still feels like we're bubbling below the surface. Feels like at some point there's going to be a big wabam, and stuff's going to proper kick off. I'm not saying stuff hasn't kicked off yet, because it obviously has. But I feel like we're going to have a big kickoff. And maybe it's going to be next week with this reveal, we'll call it a reveal, of Lena being Angie. Who knows? I certainly don't. But anyway, let's wrap this up. Thank you, everybody, for watching this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing and stuff for more reviews. That would help me out a lot. I will see you next week for another episode of this. Take care, and bye, guys.